Windows Phone or Android? What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and the HTC Titan and the Samsung Galaxy S2 Skyrocket are in the house. And you know what we do? We dogfight them, starting right now. So part two, as I was saying in part one, you've got dramatically different experiences here, both on high-end smartphones, but you've got a more simplistic experience over here, kind of in and out as quickly as possible, and then you have this experience over here, which is a little more complicated, and as a result of so much running in the background, it's a little bit less, a little bit more laggy and a little bit less consistent. But let's take a look here at both of these. But before I get into it, special love to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with a bunch of phones just like this for use in our One Paw Bandit game. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They're going to help you set up your email, your web, and all kinds of good stuff. So when you walk out the door with either of these devices, you're working. Now let's take a look over here, because like I said, Metro UI over on the HTC Titan, you've got Android 2.3.6 over here with TouchWiz 4.0. So you can see here a typical menu structure of TouchWiz 4.0, and then we can go in here and take a look at some of the widgets as well. So you can see the weather widget, for example, and a lot of the widgets within TouchWiz 4, at least the Samsung ones, are customizable by size, which is really nice because you have 7 home screens over here, and you can make the widgets any size you want to within reason. And when you're in an area like this, you don't have a whole lot of space left. You can add additional widgets up top and then below the weather widget, and you can fill up the screen. Now over here, you don't get any widgets, you get these tiles. And one thing I don't like about Windows Phone is you can't, as of yet, customize the size of the tiles. You know, for example, you'll see the calendar's square, or rectangular rather, and you'll see that messaging is square. Now I can see a reason for messaging to be rectangular. I can see a reason for people to be rectangular, for the phone application to be rectangular, but unfortunately you can't change it yourself. And also the customization here is pretty limited. The only time you're going to see the lock or the pictures when you do the lock screen and you swipe it up. You don't get any background images over here. You can only make it dark or light. So the customization options aren't quite here on this device. You can see dark or light options, and then you can see the accent color as well. You know, I can change that around. Let's make it mango, for example. And you can do some changes there, but that's about it on Windows Phone. So for somebody that likes customization, it's not going to be the absolute best over here. That said, you know, they've improved it a little bit, added some new colors or added some differences there. You know, especially when you use like a Nokia phone, you'll see Nokia Blue pre-installed, but still not up to par with even iOS, but especially Android on the customization front. Let's take a look at camera on this device. 8 megapixels over here, and you got an 8 megapixel over here as well. Now this one shoots video in 1080p while the Titan shoots it in 720p. So let's take a picture of these stamps, for example, which I had to buy because I was mailing cards earlier today. And you can see, we'll press and hold. You've got a physical button over here, so I can press and hold. I don't know why that light. Let's try and get this balance fixed a little bit. There we go. Let's try this again and get that focus in. You can see it's kind of giving off an orange tint, which I'm not quite sure why it's doing that right now, but you can see, let's get really focused in on one of these and see what we can do. And that's not a bad image at all. And one thing I love about Windows Phone, the camera application, I can easily flick between an active application and then go back through my gallery here, and then when I'm done I can go right back. Now I get my options over here, quick and easy, along with your flash options, easy to scroll through those. And then over here you can see 1080p, or excuse me, the other 8 megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording. Now there's no physical button on the Galaxy S2 Skyrocket, but you do get the on-screen button that you can press and hold and let go when you're ready to take the picture. And that is an absolutely impressive picture. Take a look at that, how clear that is, even while zoomed in. So the camera test goes to the Samsung Galaxy S2 Skyrocket. I will say, for a Windows Phone device, I've been pretty impressed with the camera over here. Now let's take a look at bandwidth, and we're going to use 2 different applications on these devices. Bandwidth is something that's available on Windows Phone. Then I have speed test over here since it's available on Android. Now this is running LTE on AT&T, so this should be substantially faster. Charlotte does have LTE, and then this is running HSPA Plus, 14.4 megabits per second. Now you're never going to see that speed. That's just a theoretical peak. But we're going to load these up and have a look and see which one comes out the best. So you can see over here the download speed. This one takes a little bit longer, whereas speed test usually completes pretty quickly. But we're going to try this. Now AT&T's been having some LTE issues on the review devices they sent me. They're in the process of reprovisioning the SIM cards for me, but other than that, we may have some issues with the LTE speeds. But I'll show you some of my results from the past so you can kind of get a comparison between LTE and then HSPA Plus. So you can see here we go. About 1.31 megabits per second over here. Still, it's only 40% complete though. And you can see, obviously, this is not running out LTE speeds. I don't know what's going on. The provisioning, they may still be provisioning. The problem with your review devices, they have to run through special channels to get the features changed, and whenever there's a little issue like that, it can take some time. So That's totally understandable. I'll show you the little network communication issues again. But you can see LTE speeds between like 4, 5, 6 megabits per second, but they haven't been as impressive as I thought they would be. Now you can scroll all the way down here. I've done quite a few tests since I've received this device, and you can see some over here kind of around the 10 megabit per second mark, and then over here you're getting a download speed of about 1.31 megabits per second. So not impressive really on either count. I've seen HSPA Plus as high as, you know, in a regular test, 4 to 6 megabits per second, and then LTE all the way up to 10, but just not showing it right now, which is kind of frustrating. So let's take a look as well. One thing I like about Windows Phone, the unified inbox. You can take 2, 3, 4 email accounts and synchronize them all up into a unified mailbox, so you don't have to have separate applications or separate icons for each one. And then when you go to Plus, it'll say, do I want to send it from Old Man McTweety at Live or Old Man McTweety at Gmail? So it's quick and easy to use, and it's so clean over here with the fonts, how they kind of roll off the screen. I can easily scroll between these two. And we'll go to Google Plus, for example, and you can see, pinch to zoom again. Very quick, very responsive. You've got shortcuts down here, respond, delete, newer or older. And then again, transition effects, just second to none. So again, if you're looking for a consistent experience, but you're just tired of iOS because it hasn't really changed that much over the years, Windows Phone is definitely a refreshing, especially on hardware like this, an incredibly refreshing change from the past. Then over here, you can see Gmail, and we'll load this up and try and get it loaded up with the LTE network issues that we're having. But you can see, for example, same email over here, and then I can show the pictures if I want to, but the header stays up at the top regardless of where I am in the email, and then down here at the bottom I can archive, delete, and then move back and forth. And then over here, I can easily respond, or I can come over here and hit forward, reply, or reply all. So it's an easy access as well. Again, fluidity though, take a look at the fluidity difference between these two. Just how quick and easy, and even though the Android one's faster in most cases, you can see that transition effect, and the way the fonts look on this just absolutely give it a nice little edge in the consistency department. So that's a big plus. Let's take a look at the market as well, because you've got some differences over here. Windows Marketplace is at about 40,000 apps right now, whereas you have Android, which has far surpassed that. And it's up into, if I remember right, about 300,000 apps right now in the Android market. And it's a one-stop shop. You can come in here and download, just like you can on the Marketplace, you can download apps, games, books, and movies. And you can do that on this device as well, between apps, games, and music. But the movies thing's a nice touch if that's something that matters to you. And again, the feature or LTE is just not wanting to cooperate. So we're going to throw it on Wi-Fi real quick. And I'm going to pull this back here so we can, as much as I hate to throw phones on Wi-Fi because it skews performance, we'll do that so you can get an idea as to what the market looks like, because I want to give you an accurate indicator here. And it just does not want to cooperate. Let's see what's going on here. Don't know what's going on. Perhaps the market's down, but we can see over here the Windows Marketplace. And you can see AT&T featured, HTC apps, and then apps. We'll go to just, you know, one of the featured apps, for example. We'll go to New York Times, and you can see how quick and easy it is to roll through there. You got your reviews, some screenshots, all on separate pages. Whereas over here, let's see if we have any luck. Let's try this again. See if we can get this sucker to load up so you can get a comparison. There we go. And then you can see over here apps. Go to Angry Birds, for example, and you could see again all on one screen, but easily scrollable between what's new, description, screenshots, star ratings, and more. And then of course you can share or search. So these are both great devices, and it's going to be totally dependent, like I say in a lot of these dogfights, totally dependent on what you want. It's going to be dependent on what matters the most to you. If you want consistency, it's going to be Windows Phone. If you want something that you want to hack and mod your device, you want all kinds of widgets, you want more application choices, the Android device, the Skyrocket's going to be the one for you. So that's something to keep in mind. So that said, you know, winter has to be declared. And before I tell you that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about battery life. 1,600 milliamp hour battery over here, 1,850 milliamp hour battery over here. Battery life's pretty much the same on both of these, though. In moderate use, I'm getting very similar numbers because, yeah, while it's a smaller battery over here and it is a big display, it's pretty easy to operate. There aren't any, you know, huge processes running in the background, despite the fact you do get some basic multitasking here in Windows Phone. Nothing really running in the background. It's a very simple OS, and as a result, the battery life is a little bit better. Now, over here, you've got widgets constantly running, things constantly updating in the background. But that said, this is one of the best, if not the best, Android device I've worked with in battery life in recent memory. That said, slight edge goes to the Galaxy S2 Skyrocket in battery life. It's just a little bit better, but again, you're going to be pretty, in my opinion, pretty decent with both of these devices, even though this has a pretty small, in comparison at least, 1,600 milliamp hour battery. But a dogfight winner has to be declared between the two, and just for features and overall performance, despite the network issues in the dogfight, the Galaxy S2 Skyrocket is the winner of the dogfight. It's got a powerful dual-core processor. It's the best in the Galaxy S2 series in terms of functionality, in terms of having LTE connectivity, in terms of having all kinds of goodies. The best of the best, if you will, from all the Galaxy S2 series thrown into one. The Skyrocket wins the dogfight. Though I will say, this is definitely the best effort by Windows Phone. And if they continue making devices like this, we're going to see a lot more of these in mainstream use, and a lot more of these in future dogfights. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with the HTC Titan and the Samsung Galaxy S2 Skyrocket. Keep it locked on the site. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. We're always giving away stuff. We're cool people to talk to. We're just super fun. So follow us, or like us rather, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Follow me on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Let me know what you think of this dogfight. I always love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, we'll see you next time.